What's up, homies? Welcome back to Doing Stuff with Diana. Today, I'm going to talk about why I quit Amway, the things that led up to it, as well as text evidence when it comes to what I'm talking about. I must say, out of my whole Amway experience, this is honestly the most embarrassing part for me, because it really showed an ugly side of me that only comes with, you being told all these things by them and how you're going to be successful, and anyone that isn't part of your success is dragging you back. And so it just really hurts looking back at these, and it really hurts like seeing all the things I said. And so just so you know, it's not a one-way type of deal. Like, I was also a jerk in the process. Like, my husband can attest to it, that there's some really mean things I told him at that time that are not recorded anywhere, that I only have evidence of through text to someone in my upline. So let's get started. Interviewer is my husband himself. Let's get this over with.
Okay. So, where does it start? Where do you start?
Basically, at the point in time where in May of last year, I think late May, that's when my now husband wanted to quit the business after 3 weeks. We had been talking through text, and he was like, I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. It's too serious and stuff like that. So that's where I texted, let's call him a rake, the person who recruited me into the business, but wasn't necessarily the successful one. It felt more real talking to him, right? Like, our upline was like this perfect, cheery woman. I've talked about her before. No negativity ever. So with him, I always felt like I could be real. Because, long story short, we met at a strip club. Okay. So based off of that, I felt, okay, I can be real with him. I can talk to him about problems, like real problems, instead of being non-negative with everyone else. And so it started with, he told me he's quitting. And Rake said, what? I thought he said, you guys can't get rid of me. And then from there, I went into this whole spiel. I said, it's hard because he's 3 years younger than me, and he said he wanted to grow with me. I thought that this is how we were going to do it. And no offense, but he does need to mature. I'm just like mentally and physically exhausted right now. And from there, Rake asked me, did you guys break up? I said, no. I guess why would we over this, right? But I said, no. Oh, I guess he's not quitting now. Rake said, wait, so he's not quitting? And I said, not anymore. So then he went ahead and be like, okay, so when can the three of us meet? And so that's where he asked, what do you mean partner together? Because there was some issues that, when you go into a business with them, you can be partnered together, like as a married couple, and not partnered together. And that's one of the issues that my then boyfriend had a problem with. And Rake was like, but you guys didn't break up? I'm like, no, we didn't. Like, to me, it was like, no, this is just an issue when it comes to the business. And he's like, so he wanted to get married? I'm like, yeah, that's in the works, it's a future plan. From there, I went on a tangent of how I was stressed because my then boyfriend wasn't doing the work and blah, blah, blah. This is where he goes on this huge rant. Something else to think of is that when it comes to marriage, both people need to be of like-minded heart and spirit. If you have a different mindset for him, that could be a potentially cause problems later. You want someone who has your same vision and is excited and wants to join you and help you reach your dream. You want someone who thinks like you and shares your desires. Marriage is about both people putting in 100%, and the other person never will if they aren't aligned with you. And that's when I was like, screech halt, hold up. you're a single guy. In that business, they always say, don't listen to anyone's advice if they don't have fruit on their tree. So even then, even when I was deep in the brainwash and telling him how my boyfriend is immature and doesn't want to be in this business and he's not ready, he's younger than me, even in that point in time, I was like, you should not be giving me this advice. You are a single guy who knows nothing about marriage. But of course, can't be negative, right? So I said, he's planning on being my customer, so whatever. And then from there, he never responded. But after that, I really had a negative attitude towards him. I was just kind of like, how dare he try to tell me what to do with my relationship based off of this business? Like, you don't know nothing about relationships. Okay, I met you at a strip club. From there, like I said, I was uncomfortable with him. And there was a point in time where he said, oh, wants us to start meeting up every week to gain a friendship, so that our future downline sees how close we are, so they can see, oh, okay, cool, that's good. And I was like, okay. Even though deep down inside, I did not want to meet with his ass. But of course, no negativity, right? There, you'll see in the text, it was just a back and forth constantly. Oh, okay, let's meet at this time. He would never respond that day. I would never push it. I'd never be like, hey, aren't we supposed to meet? Nope, never pushed it, nothing. So there was one time I canceled too, because I was like, I don't want to meet with you. And it got worse because I told him, okay, let's meet on 35th Ave in Camelback. There's probably a Starbucks there, right? He said, actually, we need to find somewhere where we can place phone calls. He's like, oh, you need to make a list of 15 people from your names list that we can reach out to. I'm like, cold calling people about this business. I was not ready for that. It's fucking embarrassing, okay? Like, hey, I thought of you when these business people came into town. It was embarrassing. So not only was I not emotionally ready for that, but I also didn't want to hang out with him in a private, quiet place. Like, why should he deserve that time from me when he's disrespecting my relationship? And now I have the same guy that's disrespecting my relationship in the apartment that me and my man share. I'm not about to have him in our private space with the same guy that he's telling me, oh, well, I don't know, is he marriage material?
Oh, I remember I told you specifically he wasn't coming to my apartment.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's what he was implying, right? Well, we got to find a place quiet to make cold calls. And I was just like, I don't feel comfortable with that for many reasons. So after he said, you need to come up with 15 people, I was like, I don't think I'm ready to meet. So then he says, okay, let's meet for Sunday the 28th. I'm like, oh, that may be the month I'm moving out, blah, blah, blah. And we decide not to meet that weekend. So time passes by. Finally, from July 15th to August 13th, almost a month later, by August 13th, he just casually decided to be like, how's it going? I'm like, good. Emotionally exhausted. Backstory, that day I had just started a new job, and I have a thing about bones, and that job had to do with bones, and I was like freaking out because someone's knee was out of place. And so I just happened to tell him it was an emotionally exhausting day because I had an anxiety attack over my bone phobia, right? But I just said, emotionally exhausted. And he said, is it dealing with work or with August?
Who's August?
Oh yeah, sorry. That's my husband. That's my boo-boo. We're trying to keep the theme of him being anonymous because it's cool. I don't know. So that's the first time I've ever used your name. But so yeah, he was like, is it work or August? And I was like, work. Of course, here I am again, not defending my now husband, not defending the people I love, because I don't want to be negative. So I just say, work. And from there, like, I try to explain my bone phobia, and I was already in a bad mood. So when he was like, bone phobia, huh? I was like, I've already explained it. I'm not willing to say it again, blah, blah, blah. And then a couple days pass, and I tell him, I think you should stop asking me if August is an emotional exhaustion. I really don't appreciate the way you ask that. And no response. Once again, very conveniently. No response. Then finally, from the 17th to the 29th, that's almost 2 weeks. Between that time, I was having so many issues with how he was talking to me that I finally was like, I can't not be negative. I need to discuss this with our upline because I can't work with him like this. So I went to our upline, Carol, and
Carol Baskins, that bitch.
God, that bitch. I basically told her, he made a marriage comment to me a couple months ago. I did not appreciate it, and now I'm finding it hard to work with him. And she was like, oh, sweetie, you know Rake, he's weird, you know that. Just don't listen to him. Don't take advice from him like that. Next time, come to us. Next time you ever have any issues like that with quitting or people conflicts, come to us, sweetie. Don't listen to Rake. He's still, learning himself. And I was like, yeah, that's true. I really shouldn't have gone to him in the first place. I will say that. I should not have told him relationship problems that I have. From there, I also, between that time, noticed that I couldn't ignore the fact that I was getting nauseous and throwing up because of the vitamins.
The Amway vitamins?
The Amway vitamins. Keep in mind, like I've said before in other videos, they request that you keep a 150 PV. When I was running out of products, I'd say, okay, well, I guess I can start taking all these vitamins. I was taking a minimum of 10 pills a day of vitamins. It was just my body not being able to take up all that crap. Even if I ate, which the lady would argue, oh, you didn't need enough. Yeah, I bet I did it for 10 plus vitamins. So within that time, I was in a bad mood over that. I was getting sick over the vitamins. So I think that's the only things that made me hit them up and be like, hey, I'm taking a break, right? And from there, he sent me this long message saying, I never meant to disrespect your relationship, and I apologize for making you feel that way. I only used words that you used yourself, as is seen in the picture below. Those are words describing your own relationship. That's literally the only reason I asked that. So that's just something to look inwardly at.
So he's just gaslighting the shit out of you.
Yeah, basically like what I said. I opened up the opportunity for him to disrespect my relationship. And so he took it. And now he's saying, oh, well, I only talk like that because you were talking like that. And so he's like, but honestly, it hurts that you think that I would ever intentionally want to make you feel bad or hurt you when I have tried to do all I can to help you be successful with building your asset. I've sacrificed time and everything for you. I've let you know that you mean a lot to me. So it truly hurts that your first thought is that I am trying to be rude and don't care. If you don't want to continue fighting for your freedom, then that is your choice. But don't put it on a question that I asked using your own words.
Damn, that's some confident speech. He must have gone really far in the business and, made a lot of money after that.
No, a month after I left, he quit in September, supposedly. So I heard. And then from there, he sent me a screenshot of what I was talking about in my relationship. From there, I went on this speech of, it wasn't just that one time where you spoke rudely to me about my relationship. You gave me advice on what to do with married couples, and you're not married. I was emotionally exhausted over the whole situation, not necessarily the relationship, but I still don't think it was right for me to even talk to him about that. So I can't really like blame him for that, in my opinion. But I even said that it was my bad, shouldn't have opened up to you. And then he said, you don't need to defend why you're leaving, Diana. It's completely your choice. It's your business and your asset. It's your choice not to fight for your freedom and to basically tell your sister and everyone else that they were right. Trying to distort things that were said by those supporting you in the past is hurtful and unnecessary. If you want to leave, you don't owe anyone an explanation. I do want to gain my freedom, but not with you. I'm not trying to twist or distort things. You said them. And then, like I told him again, when August was leaving, you went on a rant about what marriage should be like. That was your first mistake. But mine was even text you about it. And then from there, I sent him a screenshot of the whole, well, marriage should be between blah, blah, blah. That of what he said back then. And I'm like, ever since then, I stopped wanting to work with you as much. He gives me another rant. Those words came directly from Greg and Cheryl. So that's you tearing them down. My parents have been married for 35 years. I have many other married couples that have given me advice. And so I know how to give marriage advice.
And I know a lot of people who are richer than them that say everything they're doing is bullshit.
Yeah, but they're poor and miserable in reality, right? Because they own a business that's hard to manage, unlike their business.
No. No, they're doing pretty good. I could introduce you to Bill. He just chills in his backyard and plays mini golf all day.
Probably does like 4 hours a week of work.
He doesn't do any work anymore. He hired someone else to run his company.
Oh, so I guess he didn't need Amway to succeed?
Nope.
But that's what I told him after. He's like, but that just goes to show your ignorance in that area. Like, you're giving me other people's advice. I know married people too that have been married for years, but I don't go around giving the other people their advice. I said, I should have asked if I wanted marriage advice. I didn't ask you. And he's like, you truly don't understand mentorship at all, which is why you're in your current situation. I literally was sharing with you direct wisdom passed from people you claim to respect. And he says, and on the phone, you straight up asked me, Rake, what would you do? I'm like, do I have amnesia? Because I don't remember that shit. I don't remember ever getting on the phone with him that day that August was quitting the business. I don't remember that whatsoever. But I guess we talked on the phone and I was like, Blake, Rake, what would you do? I guess. And he said, now I'm twisting it. And from there, he's like, geez, just be honest. Say you wish you hadn't asked. I'm like, yeah, I already said that. I wish I never asked you. I mean, I wish I never told you what to do because August was quitting. But I never asked for marriage advice. What world am I in that I don't remember that shit? And then from there, he's just like, I'm just going to block you now because this isn't good or healthy to continue. If you want to continue building your asset, go through. But clearly you don't respect them or what they teach either.
You're right, I don't.
Well, at the time, I guess I did, right?
I don't know. They're both hucksters. That's the polite word.
Hucksters. And the sad part is, you know what I realized? They truly believe that they can help you succeed in whatever they're doing because they know that all of this is like ripping people off. So of course, in their head, they have convinced themselves that they are helping people so that they don't feel guilty about what they're doing.
I don't think that's true.
You don't think so?
I think that they know damn well what they're doing and they just don't care anymore. Like, think about how many different downlines they must have that just rotate every time that they fall apart and crumble, how it did with you and Rake and everything. And that has to happen to them multiple times a year. They're really good at they're really good at making a lot of people think that that's how they are.
That's even more messed up if that's the case. Because I've said it in my head, like, they are just so brainwashed, they truly believe they can help you.
And I don't think it's the case. Because I feel like they know full well that at this point, their livelihood relies on everyone else buying into this crap, so they're going to tell anyone what they need to. Like, think about it. If they really cared about, like, helping people succeed, in that situation that came up, they would have scolded Rake, told him, like, how dare you, step out of line like that, how dare you this and that, and, started the process of discipline or pushing him out the door or something like that. And they didn't, because to them, that's a line of income.
So, of course, they told me, oh, Rake's just weird, get over it, basically.
I guarantee you, it doesn't matter what anyone in that group of people did, they would defend him because they don't want to lose that line of income.
I just don't get that, though. Because I was only in this business for 8 months, and I could never get it in my head. And they would tell you, get it in your head that you own a business and you are helping people own theirs too. And I never got it in my head. Never, ever. As much as I tried, and sometimes I was almost there in believing that, I could not get myself to believe that I was truly helping people.
It's because every other time someone starts a business, they have something to show for it. And
I didn't.
Like, all you have is an online profile that you can buy things through.
Yeah.
You have an expensive-ass Amazon account with products that make you sick.
And that's another thing I forgot to mention earlier. When those vitamins made me sick, I started truly questioning what I was doing, because I was like,
how can you sell this to people?
How can I sell this to people? Oh, this vitamin is great. As I throw up in the background when they're not around. That's not genuine to me. I am a genuine person, and I can't get myself to fake it till I make it. But that's basically it when it comes to the text. I mean, he really did block me. Thanks, Rake. I even said, I'm like, I can't believe you talk to your downline like this. Good job. Blocked me. And do you think it goes to show, it says something that he quit a month after me? Like, what if I had dumped you over that?
Oh, yeah, and stayed in just for him to quit?
Just for him to quit. Like, I just don't... I'm so grateful that I was not deep in the brainwash to end my relationship, because even from the beginning, when he started trying to talk crap about it, I was like, no. I don't just date people for shits and giggles, only to break up with them over a business. Like, no, we're going to figure this out. We're going to work it out. And if you don't want to be in it, then okay, boo-hoo. Whatever.
And for me, that's what it always seemed like they were trying to push for that whole time. And once, it came out that I didn't want to be involved in it anymore, he started saying, oh, is he emotionally exhausting? Oh, is he marriage material? And it felt like that whole group of people was just kind of dropping little sprinkles for you to, have any reason to leave me.
Yeah, dropping the seeds in my head. Well, is that relationship even worth it? He obviously doesn't want the same things you do. It's just so ridiculous. And I can't help but wonder if they treated other married couples the same way they treated us, because we weren't married yet. No, I think just one couple when I was in there, that out of nowhere, the wife just stopped showing up to the meetings, right?
Yeah, well, there's also that one girl, her boyfriend stopped showing up too.
Oh, yeah! Yeah, my homie, the non-religious girl, her man also stopped showing up. So I'm just kind of like, I wonder if they were treating her the same too. Oh, sweetie, he'll come around, or, oh, sweetie, maybe it's just not meant to be, or, is he marriage material?
Yeah, and I don't know, it says a lot about their character, because a lot of the times that they met me or saw me, I was in uniform because I was still active duty at the time, and they'd be so grateful, air quotes, and appreciative to my face, say all these things about what a great person I must be and how much they appreciate what I've done, just to go behind my back and say all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Or just to allow it, if anything, because Carol never really like talked crap about you when you left. She was just like, oh, he'll come around. But the fact that I told her that you were being talked crap about, and she was like, oh, he's weird.
Yeah. Well, even Rake himself was, telling me all the time, oh man, that's so cool. We appreciate what you do, man.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
Only for him to be texting me, well, is August marriage material something you need to consider about marriage? Is blah, blah, blah. It's like, would you say that to his face? At least when I told him that, oh, I don't think he's mature enough, blah, 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 about you, at least I said that and worse things to you when you quit the business. Because I was able to say it to you and not just go behind your back and talk shit.
Right.
Just that whole situation stresses me out. I cannot believe I got to that level where I was willing to let someone talk to me like that in the first place. You know what I mean? It's just, I know I finally did speak up 2 months later, but those 2 months, I can't believe I wanted something that was so fake to work that I was willing for him to be talking shit about you and me not say anything. Because no negativity allowed, right? That business is horrible. Horrible. And I have noticed that you and me fought the most when I was in that business.
Yeah, no, that's 100% of a fact, because every time that something would come up, it put me in a situation where I felt like I couldn't say anything negative about it, because all that would do is validate everything that they were saying behind my back.
Yep.
It would suddenly make all those things
You're
true.
a hater. You'd be a hater, how they said. You're bringing me down. And I just wish you knew that I wasn't willing to break up with you over it. Because then you had that in your head too. If I say anything, she's going to want to break up.
Yeah.
I just... I can't stand those people.
That's what it felt like. No, they had you so deep in their pockets that a lot of times you were picking things related to that over us.
Yep.
And they made it seem like that was the right choice.
Like the one time when I didn't go camping with you.
Yeah, it's my family reunion. Or even just the Oregon trip. I don't know if you remember, but at one point you said you were glad I wasn't going.
Yeah, because you were going to, how do you say, drag me down. You were going to make me not want to go to the events. Shit, I ditched myself. I didn't need you to I didn't need you to ditch. I ditched myself. Always ditching that first half of the religious ceremony. Always.
Well, now you ditched the whole thing.
Yes. And I am so grateful that I did. Any last words?
Amway's a giant scam, and you can help reduce and mitigate this issue for other people, other families, and people you care about by just reporting any practices to the FTC. No matter how small it is, all those reports go a long way, and it takes these people out one by one. So if you can do your part and just report the way that people approach you, because there are some unlawful tactics they take in trying to pitch the business, the way that they try to sell products, some of those tactics are unlawful. Just report everything that seems off, and hopefully you'll just build up such a bad reputation for these people that at the least they'll leave you alone, but hopefully they'll just kind of migrate out of that area that you're living in, make your home life a little better.
The problem with Amway too is that they have so much backup from the government. I think it started the Reagan era, where they started making friendly donations to presidents each year. Just friendly donations. I don't know if it went up to Obama, but I know he didn't do shit about them. So it's You know, it's they have the government in their back pocket. So at least right now, the most we can do is, like August said, report them. When they make income claims, report that at their ass. Keep voicing out your opposition to them. Keep making it harder for them to get people into their business, because that's how they got me. I had no idea who they were. All I knew was, wow, these business owners want to talk to me about business and they think I'm a potential candidate.
Right.
And that's how they get a lot of people.
And something else you can do is, if you know someone who's like in the beginning steps, it's harder the further along they're into the process to convince them that it's a bad idea. But if you see someone in these beginning steps, show them these videos, like show them these resources.
Definitely.
Because you may be like not only saving them money, but you could be saving them like certain relationships in their life too.
I've definitely read stories on Reddit and stuff where people are like, me and her broke up because I said Amway or me, and she went with Amway, basically. And I think I agree with that beginning part too, because, you know, in the beginning, like I said, I had no idea what I was getting into. But I told a friend, I told her, oh, I'm just meeting with these two people that are business owners, and they want to like talk to me about building my business. And she was like, is it Amway? And I was in the process where I had no idea yet. They had not introduced that to me. That's how they like delay telling you what business it is. So I was like, Amway? I don't think so. Sounds familiar though. And I think around that period when you don't have any idea what you're talking about is when to start telling them, be careful. You're getting into something that you should not be getting into. That is a scam at the end of the day. Multi-level marketing. You can convince yourself all you want that you're going to do it with products and you don't have to recruit people. It's not going to happen. That's not how that business model works.
Right. If it did, you'd have people at their top level who got there by doing that, and there isn't a single one.
And you know why there ain't a single one? Because of the model, but because their products are expensive. Now that I don't buy Amway products, anytime we buy toothpaste and stuff, I'm like, oh my God, these are so cheap. What?
You mean reasonably priced?
Yeah, reasonably priced. I never heard of such a thing. Thanks for tuning in to Doing Stuff with Diana. If you like this video, click here, here, or here for my other ones having to do with Amway. I also got a lot of different random stuff going on my channel. Check it out. Peace out, homies.